Affordable luxury. Two words which often don't get used together. And when it comes to cars, then luxury often means a hefty price tag. And that was until this car comes along, the MG HS. Since the facelift of the previous model, this car has been deemed an affordable luxury vehicle with its bold exterior and even bolder interior. And with yet another facelift, it's given Simon Cowell a run for his money. But in this case, the facelift has given this already very creditable car an even bigger boost. The one striking difference which gives this new version of the HS that special edge on its predecessor is the design of the front of this car, because they've gone away with that Jaguar Volvo style front grille that's bold and in your face to something which looks a lot more aggressive and sportier, and personally I'm a big fan of the upgrade of this car. The way the two LED headlights come in to this centre, to this very bold front grille, shows that if you need a car with more space but don't want to compromise on style, then the MG HS is the perfect example of that. And with 19-inch alloy wheels which come as standard, the style just carries on. And the same can be said for the interior. I mean, it's a very roomy space with lots of storage for your belongings, nice deep pockets in your doors, two cup holders, and nice storage space in your centre console. And with this being the trophy, you do get that wireless charging pad, which is a nice storage space for your phone on a long journey. And overall, it's just very smart. I keep coming back to that affordable luxury tagline, but this shows it in abundance. The new MG HS is very reminiscent of the old model, but the one key upgrade, especially for me, is this integrated 12.3-inch infotainment and digital dash. And with them both being 12.3 inches, it really fills that space well. In your infotainment system, you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as standard from the base spec, along with your built-in sat-nav. I do like as well that you can customize that digital cluster. You can either have it on your maps, which if you're on a drive, you got your sat nav on, just makes it really easy because you're constantly just looking down rather than looking across, which just makes it that bit safer. But you can also put, if you don't want your map on, you can just put, a large speedometer with your traffic sign recognition, or you can have the intelligent drive feature, which shows your adaptive cruise control settings, etc., etc. With this being the trophy, the top spec, you do get 360 parking cameras. That is one of the features that come at that premium cost. However, in the SE, the base spec, you don't get them 360 parking cameras, but you do get reversing cameras, so it just makes it easier, and front parking sensors. So yes, you go without that 360 technology, but your wing mirrors are so big, and they have blind spot detection from standard. So really, the SE or the trophy, they're both as safe as each other. And in terms of specs and cost, well, there isn't much difference between the two. The SE comes in at 25 grand and the trophy around the £28,000 mark, with the top spec only differing in terms of premium features, such as 360 parking camera, heated front seats, power tailgate, wireless charging and leather style upholstery. The safety features, exterior styling and driver convenience all come as standard, including the powertrains. Because there are technically three powertrain options to choose from, all of which come with a 1.5 litre turbocharged engine, and you have a 6-speed manual and a 7-speed automatic. Now that third one comes in the version of a plug-in hybrid model, which comes at a higher price point, but that engine and hybrid system can produce 75 miles of pure electric driving. Now if we come back to the regular petrol version of the MG HS, and you're looking at a 0 to 60 time between 9.4 and 9.6 seconds, whereas the plug-in hybrid can produce a pretty impressive 6.8 0.60 time, especially for a car of this size. And yes, you could say, well, 9.4 seconds isn't exactly fast, it isn't exactly thrilling. Well, truth be told, no, it's not. I'm not going to say, oh, it's a really fast car, because it isn't. But SUVs aren't born to be fast. They're born to be comfy on long drive. They're born to be spacious, and this has that in abundance. But what I will say is, even though it's not a quick car, it doesn't feel slow. If you're needing to quickly take over someone on the motorway, or you're pulling out of a busy junction, you're not going to be sort of worried, and it's not like you need to give extra time to wait for a huge gap to be able to get out, because this car certainly isn't sluggish. One thing I am impressed with is the ease of the drive and how relaxed I feel behind the wheel of this car, because truth be told, I'm not an SUV person. I'm a small bloke who has no kids, and a lot of SUVs can look out of place. It 100% looks like too big of a car for me. However, saying that, I don't feel the size of this car when you're driving it. I don't feel like I'm encroaching onto the other side or I need to give extra space. And the fact that your seat position is so high up, I can clearly see over the bonnet. And I'm only 5'4" and I can still see around me. And especially with the size of the wing mirrors. Now, obviously, with it being a trophy, you do have that 360 parking cameras, which means that when you do indicate a junction, your blindside camera does come on, which does just make it that much easier to navigate, them busy, congested roads. If you are looking towards the new MG HS to be your new family vehicle, then you'll be glad to hear that it has plenty of safety features, all which come as standard, as mentioned before. But I just think that needs to be shouted out more. The fact that your base spec has all them safety features that you do with the top spec, they're not compromising it, so almost making, forcing you to go to that top spec. To be honest, it'd probably be easier to say what driving safety features this car doesn't have, because it's got the cruise control, it's got blind spot detection, traffic sign recognition, hill start assist, lane keep assist, the list goes on. It has them all. Personally, I've been a big fan of driving this car around. Sometimes SUVs, you put your foot down and it takes a bit to kick in and it almost sounds like you're over revving, even if you're in an automatic. And it kind of looks like you can't drive a car and you're proper crunching your gears. Whereas this feels smooth, it kind of glides off the line. And even though the car I'm driving is the petrol version, not the hybrid, it kind of feels like a hybrid in a way. Just the smoothness of the car, with how quiet that engine is. It's a really pleasant driving experience. And when it comes to the rear of the car, that style is not compromised at all. It's a very nice finish, the same style seating as the front. So it keeps it uniform throughout in terms of its style. And if you do need the MG HS to be your family car, we're going on a long road trip and you've got kids in the back seats, well, don't worry. They won't be squabbling in terms of space because there is plenty of it. And you also do get 2 USB ports, so they can charge up the phone, put their headphones on, and you won't hear a peep out of them. You do have a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders with that nice premium finish to it. And what I will say is I'm just really impressed with what MG have done with the HS. They really revamped it, really upped the game in terms of the affordable nature and also just the style of this car. Driving it about, sitting in the front seats and now sitting in the back seats, it's hard to imagine the fact that this car being £28,000, especially with it being a top spec at £28,000. I just think that's really good going. If you're on the search for a new car and you need a family SUV or just a larger car, and you're kind of going about dealerships and you're thinking, well, that one's nice, but that's like out my price range, that's 35-40. This has that feel of a 35-40, maybe even 45k price point car, but it's £28,000. Personally, the MG HS is a great car for families with a very spacious back space, ISOFIX points and 507 litre boot capacity. You have everything you need for a family trip. Safe, space, style. So then, when it comes to the new MG HS, for me, it's a well-rounded car at a very, very fair price point. And it just goes to show that even in the world that we live in today, affordable luxury can still exist in the car world. And that, I think MG should score very highly for.